Good morning, running bears. I'm so sorry, a few technical issues in the kitchen this morning. Thanks for bearing with me. At least we're making cookies today, so at least we have that. Okay, apologies again for those of you coming through. A few technical issues in the kitchen this morning. Thanks for bearing with me. Now, it is a long lockdown. I think we're all feeling it. So when I was looking at what to do this week, I'd also seen that a lot of you did the 5K run. So well done for those of you that did that. I looked at the hideous weather, and at the time I was asking one of my daughters to bake my go-to treat, which are these incredible cookies. Now, I'm not going to lie, a cookie is a cookie, so it's not something that I'm going to try and promote as the healthiest food for us runners, nutritionists, etc. However, as we know, as a post-run snack, so between an hour and up to 20 minutes before you run, I promote you to have the high fuel, high glycemic index energy foods. This is the chocolate version of what I'm going to make today. After you've run, you know I want you to get as much protein into your bodies as you can, as quickly as you can. So I'm doing a protein peanut version of the cookie for you guys to have afterwards. It is a treat, so please don't eat the entire tray if you can possibly help yourselves. And again, these can be frozen and stored in the fridge for a few days. So the whole family will also enjoy them. And I know you're going to make these more than once. And there's loads of different varieties that we can go through as we're cooking. Let's start cooking. Those of you that are cooking with me, we're at 350 degrees Fahrenheit today. That's around about 160, but check that in Celsius, gas mark 4. We're going to start, I think, I'm going to do both of them today, which is a bit bonkers, but you know, I just feel like doing both of them today. Whichever ones you're doing, they're really similar methods, so work along with me. The first thing is, as always, the equipment. I'm going to use, just because I've got one, a stand mixer, but if you haven't, do you have, if you don't, they cost about a tenner, the electric whisker. This is brilliant for all my bakes. Otherwise, you're going to be working your arm muscles today because it's a little bit of the wooden spoon and a lot of mixing, or any food mixer, anything like that's absolutely fine. We're starting with our butter and our sugar. So get that into whichever bowl you're using. I'm going to start with my protein ones. Now, what I've decided to do, just as it's not an experiment for you, but just to show you, I'm using coconut sugar in this one. Some of you guys might have it, some of you might be very plant-based and always preference using the coconut sugar. It's actually brilliant. It has a sort of caramelly flavour, so I use it a lot in baking. It is supposed to be slightly better for you, but remember, it is a sugar. So when I say it's slightly better for you, it's a more natural form. It has higher levels of inulin, they're still small, and that will to some degree stop the blood sugar spiking in moderation. So there we go. I'll put that on, let that whisk around, and then we're going to give that about a minute just to cream those two ingredients together, and then I'm going to add a mixed egg. As always, give that egg a good beat. It just helps the whole process and the binding of the cookie. The beauty of this recipe, guys, is you pick your flavours. I've gone for chocolate because I know so many of us out there are chocoholics, me included, and it's the one I make. But that's not to say you can't try your usual favourite flavour of biscuit or cookie. So I know if you want to throw some raisins in, if you want to put nuts in, cranberries, dried fruit, any of those sort of things. Try some gingers and spices, bits like that. And if you're interested and you like cinnamon, it's brilliant for increasing your metabolism. So any of you feeling a little bit sluggish or etc., try doing these with cinnamon and maybe some ginger. They work really well. And orange, little grinds of orange zest, brilliant. Okay, so to that I've added my egg. I'm going to add my dry ingredients. For the protein cookie, which I'm making first, rather than use flour, high glycemic plain flour, which we don't want afterwards, I'm using ground almond. That said, if you're not a fan of ground almond, to be honest, you don't really taste the flavour of the ground almond in this particular recipe. But if you're not a fan of using it, you can use, as I've suggested, rolled oats if you're not wanting flour or gluten-free. You can also use a wholemeal flour or something on the refined carbohydrate. Okay, last ingredient is the nut butter. I've gone for a crunchy almond butter. You can go for peanut butter, you can go for smooth, you can go for different types of nut butters down to your preference. Just add that in and let that just whisk away for a few minutes. Now, I've suggested on my cooking charts, those of you, the recipe charts, those of you following, we roll them into balls. We can roll them into balls, or if you're anything like me, we can slap them on with a couple of spoons and they create these wonderful homemade cookie loaves. Just go with it. If you're wanting them to look really fancy, doing them for a special occasion, I'll show you how to roll. But if I'm honest, if it's just in this house, we don't roll. Okay. All right, they're done. So I'm going to roll them in a minute when I've done the chocolate version. So let me just switch that off. Clean down that. You know I'm not going to clean my beater, don't you? Because I'm so lazy. So we'll just be using this for the chocolate version. Okay, so that's the cookie dough. Now, I know at the moment, guys, and this is one for another week, cookie dough is the most popular thing, raw cookie dough in America. They create it somehow and put it in jars and sell it on shelves. I've made a healthy one for some of my athletes this week. We do it with hummus. I'm going off on a tangent as always, with some hummus, some chocolate, some figs, some nut butter, whiz it all together, and we've made a healthy nut butter, a healthy cookie dough. I'm going to share it with you at some point, but it's actually really good if that's what you're into. Okay, we're going again. We're doing the pre one now. So this one is for the pre-run. So when you're allowed to have your white flour, your high glycemic bits and pieces, this is when you can go for my chocolate cookie, okay? So again, we're going to start with the butter, the sugar. This time I'm going for white sugar, guys, because it's obviously high glycemic. I want the fuel to get into your body straight away. Don't start the mixer before you put it into the actual bowl. Okay, okay. Let me just put that on properly. Right, so, well, that's whizzing away. All of the ingredients in this is high glycemic. The reason being, I want it to be very easy for your body to digest, and I want it to get into your system really, really quick and fuel you throughout your race. So white sugar, white flour, okay? To that, 1 egg, in it goes. When that's had a few seconds to whisk up, we add our flour and we add cocoa powder. You'll note none of these ingredients are crazy on the numbers. I've literally done this recipe 100 times, reducing and reducing and reducing the sugar and the baddies till we get to a point where we get a good consistency cookie that does the job. I'm going to put a little tiny hint, it's only an option, of your vanilla essence in that. It's just preference. And like I've said, if some of you guys want to add your nuts, etc. to this, dried fruit to this, be my guest. Okay, that is it. It's done. So you see how easy it is to create a cookie dough. I will remember to switch it off this time. Okay, now, what I'll do, I'll roll the chocolate ones and show you how they are very, very pretty. And then I might not roll the other ones. Let's see how they get on. So obviously, if you're doing this, make sure you've got clean hands. And then get your baking trays at the ready as well. Right. So let me move that out the way. You get this great cookie dough. It is literally a dough. This is how it should look. Totally pliable and manageable. You're looking for about the size, we'll keep it in sport, about the size of a golf ball, a ping pong ball, something like that. Okay, that's it in the size of my hand. And that's going to go straight onto your baking tray. Okay, you can obviously make them bigger if you're greedy, like my family, or you can make them smaller if you want to put them into some form of portable packaging to take with you on a run if you're doing a very long run. So again, if it's going to be bigger, you need to increase the cooking time in relation to the size of the cookie, and obviously if you're making the miniature ones to take with you whilst you're running, reduce the cooking time in relation to the size of the cookie. Okay, so just to give you an example of how quick and easy that is, the shaping, by the way, sorry guys, dead simple, just roll it in between your hands. They're not massively even, but they're not bad. Okay, let's have a look at the other one. So this one's a slightly wetter dough just because we've used the ground almond as opposed to the flour. So you're going to get slightly messy, but again, create something of a shape, or to be completely honest, just use your spoons and just plot it on. You get just as good a result. I'm just doing this because I put it on my card and now I feel I have to. Okay, full of protein, guys, literally nut butter. We've got the ground almonds, we've got a little extra I'm going to put on the top now. These are purely for recovery, okay? Please don't eat these ones before you run. These are the ones to have after you've run, or obviously just as a snack in the evenings or whatever, but they are intended as a recovery. Okay, I'm going to do, because I'm feeling fancy, a little shake of extra protein on the top. Again, it's optional, ground flaked almonds. These are going to go into my 350 oven middle tray. And I've said 15 minutes. I'm going to show you some that I've just made earlier on, which took me, I gave them a little bit longer if I'm honest, 16, 17 minutes. It's all down to how you guys like your consistency of your actual cookies. Let me put them in and show you the ones I've made earlier. Right, so this is what they will look like, I promise you. I'm going to show you up in more detail now. So we'll start with the protein one because we made the protein one first. So that's the type of cookie you're going to get from what I've just shown you. Really gorgeous cookie, just like that. Dead easy in what? It's taken me maybe 5 or 6 minutes to put it together, maybe 15 minutes in the oven, so 20 minutes plate, from the start to the plate. The sweet little cookie, chocolate cookies, again, really lovely. I've given them a bit longer because I like mine to be edging on the side of crunchy. If you like them really soft like the Americans do, reduce the time to around 12 minutes and then you'll get that sort of soft, doughy consistency in the middle. These are also great, really hot, so you can actually make these as a healthy-ish pudding, you know, and serve them hot. Guys, I'm going to post the ones that have come out of the oven later on. This has been great fun. Again, sorry I came in a bit late, a few technical issues, but we'll have that. Let me know your thoughts. Have a go at baking these. They're really easy. I didn't want to task any of you this week. You've all done amazing running. We're in the middle of a lockdown. Try them. If you like them, the difference between making these and buying those hideous things in the shop is massive. Have a look at my ingredients. Have a look, I don't know, about 5 or 6 ingredients for each cookie there. Have a look at the ingredients on the sides of a packet of cookies. You'll see there's preservatives, there's salts, there's colourings, there's so many things that our body just doesn't know what to do to when we put it inside. And that's what causes most of the issues. GI issues, weight issues, blood sugar spike issues. So as soon as you guys start to see how quick and easy it is to create something just as gorgeous in your kitchens and the benefit it will do to you long term, the more I know you guys are kind of carry on cooking. Really simple. Thank you so much. I don't know what I'm making next week yet. One week I'm going to do a load of smoothies with you and maybe throw in that cookie dough healthy mix. Just something totally different, something totally fun. If you've got any suggestions or anything in particular you want me to make, then obviously send me a message at Running Bear and I'll look forward to seeing you all this time next week. Send me your pictures. Thanks a million. Take care.